Welcome to this episode of In the Grove. I'm Jeff Franke. Today, my guest is former trustee Nancy Czarnik. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. I guess we're going to be talking about some time that you spent with the village.
A little bit.
So, you've been a trustee for 32 years now, correct?
Yes, yes.
Well, when you first started, were you appointed or did you run?
I was appointed. Mayor Zedek appointed me to take Hauser's position.
Okay.
And I was surprised.
Were you shocked that he asked you?
Yes, because I had been on the Plan Commission really quite a short time. And I blame Mayor Galatano for that because he pulled me in with some of the background of real estate, being a banking officer.
Gotcha.
In the real estate department. So he got me on the Plan Commission, and then all of a sudden Chuck approached me about the trustee position, and to be honest, I was quite honored. It was a very confident thought of his, or confident
Sure.
for me. It was a compliment. That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, things were really, 32 years ago, we're still moving. We had a lot of property that we were still doing in the planning commission.
Very true.
And, now we're pretty much built out. We're just tearing down old things. But I'm sure you were very busy with the planning commission, so you must have, obviously Mayor Zedek was around a while.
I always laugh about that is because I talked to all the trustees, and, they had given me a little insight onto what it would involve. And about 6 months into it, at one of the board meetings, I said, "You gentlemen all lied to me." And they all said, "Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So fair warning, Tammy, that it's a lot more to it than what they first tell you about.
Yeah, well, you pretty much, being around a while, you've helped control things. I'm sure if she could just take some information from you, it'll work out fine.
Anytime.
Well, being that you were the first deputy mayor of Elk Grove, I know.
Yes. I'm thrilled.
Again, if something ever happened to the mayor, you would take control.
I've tried. He's indestructible.
Yes, he is. There's got to be some kind of kryptonite that we can get for him, but he does a very good job. Some of the committees, well, actually, you were on committees, but one of them that the whole village would know about is the parade committee. You did that were you doing that for 32 years, or?
No, we started that about I'm trying to think, 1997? I think that's when we started it. Isn't that terrible? It's time goes on.
It's been around for a long time.
Started to, actually, Mayor Zedek wanted a parade, and we did do a parade for the 25th anniversary, I believe. We went down Arlington Heights, or not, crossed over Arlington. We came down Bysterville, started at Village Hall, came down,
okay.
And we did a few parades on and off at that time. But then they wanted to actually start the parade committee, and so again, because the JCs used to do a Peony parade every year, if you remember growing up.
As a little kid.
Yeah. And so I think I was kind of chosen because I had some friendship, shall we say, with some JCs, like my husband, who was parade chair at the JCs for a while. Anyway, we got a lot of the JCs involved with the parade committee. Earl Peacock, Frank, Lee Rodriguez, Fred Ganowski, who's still on the parade. So they had the knowledge behind it. And so that's kind of how we got into the parade. Then Ann Feichter was one of our first parade chairs.
Okay.
And then Steve Santowski took over from her. And you could not get someone who is more enthusiastic, more dedicated to that parade in this village than the committee that we have, and Steve in particular.
I don't think people realize how much goes into running this parade and getting it together. It's a year-round thing. And,
it is.
I know the time that you spent and all the volunteers and the names you mentioned, all fantastic people. And we've had a few bumps with weather, heat, rain.
Never rain. It
didn't rain?
No,
oh,
no.
Didn't it flood once?
Flood, yes.
Okay,
flood,
well,
not rain.
Not
Big
rain on the parade,
Big difference.
but rain before the parade.
That's okay.
Well, we've had a night parade, so we can have a boat parade sometime, maybe.
Please, we don't need that.
No, okay.
That really was the highlight when we did those night parades. And again, that was one of Steve's ideas. Phenomenal. We really enjoyed it. I wish we could do it, but,
Well, it's time.
Yeah.
Now, you've been elected 8 times, and as I can recall, you're always the top vote getter. So what do you attribute that to?
Personality.
Well, to know
No.
you still love you, but, what, I mean, obviously, you've got to have something that people
I hope
like.
it's just being consistent. I don't always agree with everything, but you go in with an open mind and with ability to change and compromise. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
To be honest, any position in any life's matters is compromise with your kids, with your husband, with your wife, with whomever. But I think that has stood in my benefit, that it really has stood me well.
Well, it's worked. I mean, like I said, every time, everybody's like, who's going to be second or third? Everybody knows who number one's going to be.
Wow.
So, now this is some numbers. I have to read this because I couldn't memorize this, but you've served under 3 mayors. There's been 11 different trustees. 3 village managers, attended 649 village board meetings.
That's all?
Yeah, I mean, that
Seems
should
like a
be
lot more.
another 1,000. Adopted 1,859 village ordinance, 1,989 village resolutions. Pick one out of any of those. If you
Oh,
can
I know
remember.
everyone. It's
That
right
you
there,
like the
top.
best.
Yeah, top of my. Who knows?
I know.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, there's plenty of things. And I mean, there's not just one. There's hundreds that I'm sure out of all these numbers that meant something different to the village, a direction that the village went. And like I said, the village was still young when you started, growing, and you helped direct that to where we're at today, which is pretty good. I mean,
Thank you.
We're doing very well, but you're you're a good reason why.
Thank you.
In fact, if someone could keep control of the mayor, it would be you. So, what would you say to the residents of Elk Grove? Anything you want to say?
It has been really an honor, and more than that, a pleasure to have been able to serve this village in a capacity I never thought of. Something that, you take into your life, and all of a sudden it's a part of you. And the board, oh my goodness, the employees,
Yeah.
I get a little emotional because they are so, so important to this village, and I don't think that you realize it until you're a part of it, until you see how dedicated so many of them are. The police and the fire and now the Public Works Academy, if you have the chance, I mean, each one is phenomenal. But I think this Public Works Academy that just finished it, you don't know how important those little things are. They're not little. Do without water for a day. Do your sewers. It's just unbelievable. And to see how it works and how it is involved, phenomenal.
Well,
phenomenal.
That also goes back to direction, the trustees before us, you being around so long, the trustees now. I mean, we have to make decisions to kind of direct these things, and it's tough because sometimes we're human,
We've made errors. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I've made errors. There's, little things that, some little, some big. But you realize that, but you do the best you can.
Well, that's all you can.
And that's all. And Jeff, that's the other thing. When you mentioned 11 trustees, 3 mayors, but when you think 65 years of this village, and we've only had, 5 mayors.
Yeah.
We really hit the turnover is not as great as so many other places. And again, we go back to that achievement of involvement, of dedication to you, to the other trustees. I am so proud of that, and I'm very proud for the part I took in it too.
Well, I'm personally myself, being Steve Schmidt now is the rookie, but just my 14
No,
years.
Tammy's the rookie.
Well, yes, starting. But I learned so much from you, and I use that, and I have my own thing, but I learned a lot from you and the other trustees, but a lot with you, because you're more even-keeled.
Thank you.
I needed to be controlled a little.
Don't we all,
yeah.
to some degree?
What advice would you have for Tammy Miller?
Be open. I know she's an excellent choice. I really am very proud of the choice that the mayor and the board agreed with. I think she'll be very attuned to what is needed, again, because some of her background, and I think that's something we all enter into. We all bring something different.
Right.
And I do give her the advice of keep an open mind, keep an open heart, always listen. That's all we can do. You make the decisions the best you can with what you got, and you go from there. And thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very. It develops.
Yes. Well,
it does develop.
You want everybody to like you, but you know it's impossible.
Exactly.
So you'll learn that. Well, it's not really saying goodbye to you, because we're going to have you back on the show when we talk about the Czarnik golf.
Absolutely.
And probably some other things, because I know you just can't sit still, even though it's time for you to go and do some traveling and stuff.
I have much traveling planned.
Good.
Much traveling.
You deserve it. It's time. You've done a wonderful job here, and now go out and enjoy it. But we're going to pull you back in anyway, so you know.
I
that.
certainly hope so. I do plan to step away for a while to give everybody a breather, and myself. But I do plan on asking to be involved again.
Oh, you don't have to ask. We're going to drag you in.
Sounds good.
For sure. Thank you again for coming. We do appreciate it.
My great pleasure.
Thank you. We'll be right back with a new trustee, Tammy Miller, after this.
So today we're
first and third. Yeah. Well, good. I mean, I think this page is set. If you agree.
I agree. Yeah, there's
Agree?
probably a couple
Yeah, no,
changes, but
definitely
I think
complete.
for
Okay.
the most part it's different.
Well, great. Then let's move on. Page 5.
"24/7 pickup lockers are now available at the Elk Grove Village Public Library. Library patrons now have the option to select our outdoor lockers as a pickup location. It's perfect for when you can't pick up your holds during our business hours, or you just don't have time to come inside. Patrons may place holds by logging into their library account via the library catalog, mobile app, or by calling the library or visiting in person. Held items remain in the lockers, waiting for you for 3 days. Once you receive a notification that your items are ready for pickup, simply scan your library card or digital card on our mobile app, or type in your library card number to the locker system. From there, enter your 4-digit PIN and then press Log In. After you've entered your information, a locker door will open to release your hold. When the doors open, your items will automatically be checked out, so be sure to take all of your items. Press the Print Receipt button on the screen for your checkout receipt if needed. It's just that easy. When you're done with your items, just return them to the library's book drop. To get started using the new outdoor lockers, or if you just need more information, go to egvpl.org or call 847-439-0447.
Welcome back. I'm here with my guest today, Tammy Miller. Welcome, Tammy.
Jeff, thank you.
Tammy is our new village trustee, is replacing Nancy Czarnik, who's been here forever. And so she's got some tough shoes to fill, but we all know that you can do it. Let's tell the viewers a little bit about you. Well, first, let's say, why did you become a trustee? How did it happen? Did Mayor Johnson talk to you?
Yes, so Mayor Johnson approached me and asked me if I would be willing to consider an appointment. And of course, I asked what the expectations were, and I was humbled and honored at the same time. I've always believed in public service. My background was in education as a teacher and administrator, and then I worked for the Park District, so public service was always a big part of what I do, and I volunteer around the village, so I considered my time. I've obviously talked with my husband to make sure that I had the time, but I very much believe in public service and volunteering, so that's why I considered to do this.
You know, I'm sure, the mayor likes to do this. He likes to, pick people that maybe, not everybody knows, but, when your name came up, I don't think there was one person that said, what, or anything. They just, really good pick. Oh. I mean, anybody who's been involved with the Park District knows you. Anybody who's been with the Community Character Coalition and that knows, but you're always in a good mood.
You have to be, don't you?
Well, we'll work on that on the board.
I'm just excited because I do feel like I've been involved in the community, and I volunteer at my church. I volunteer at Community Character Coalition. The Park District was a big part of my world for 17, 18 years.
Wow, yeah.
So I got to see a lot of things develop. I got to meet a lot of people, develop relationships, and foster those relationships. So that's been very important to me.
Now, your job at the Park District, when you started, and I met you 18 years ago when you moved here. I was running football, and your sons were involved in football. So
correct.
We got to know each other then, but you started off at the Park District in what position?
So I was hired as a facility manager for the Farmhouse Museum.
Okay.
Being from Nebraska, they thought I could handle the Farmhouse Museum.
Okay.
Also the Hattendorf Center and the skate park. So those were 3 buildings and facilities that needed a facility manager. And 3 months later, I was promoted to recreation manager. From there, the positions kind of morphed into the director of leisure services. So it's been very, very fun. I
can remember. Well, anybody who's watched the park board meetings, and then they always see you off to the side. And so, now you're going to be that person that everybody, would look at on the other side of the table.
Yes, exactly. I was always very involved in operations and staff, but now I'm on the other side looking at vision and policy. So this is going to be really nice.
Yeah. Now you make decisions for 33,000 people, and the thing is you just do what you think is right. And
I think so.
It's not rocket science.
And you listen to the facts, and you listen to staff, and you listen to the public, and you make those decisions from there.
Now, what do you have an accomplishment at the Park District that's you're kind of proud of?
I have lots. I have many. I think the relationships with the school districts, with the village, with the public, I think that's number one. Because I think if you have good relationships with people, then you can grow and do whatever you can for all of the people. Rainbow Falls was renovated in 2010, so that was a big one.
That's right.
The skate park was changed into an outdoor skate park, actually, so that was also a big one. But I would have to say probably the best accomplishment was the staff. We had great staff, and I think we still do. So they also look out for what's best for the public, and they listen to the public. So the programs and the facilities were great. Pirates Cove was great. Many of our programs, our preschool, our seniors, it just varies, all the way to the aquatics and the swimming and the dance. So very proud of that.
Elk Grove, we don't do anything small.
No.
So, but the Park District, I mean, everybody comes from out of town. Says, I can't believe that you have this, all these different facilities, all these different things with the Park District. So, when you say two relationships with other parts of government, I mean, there's elected bodies all over, but you have to work with each other.
Yep.
You can't fight each other.
No.
And I think the village, the Park District, the library, the school districts, everybody kind of, we may have our differences on some things, but everybody kind of.
And you work together. You do, because again, public service is important, and I think when you have those relationships, it always helps. So
I think you being able to have done that already, I think is going to help you along really quick. So it won't be too long before you're smarter than all of us. You mentioned about the different organizations that you belong to. Are there any other ones that we didn't mention? I mean, you're involved with your church, you're involved with the Community Character Coalition.
Right.
And then anything else?
Well, I also work part-time for a company called That's Caring. It is in the industrial park, and we deal with a lot of corporate business, and so I'm the voice, the customer service. Okay. So I have really enjoyed that, because I think I get to then show my customer service to people. So that's a plus. Well,
you'll need that for the residents, because they will, no matter where you are, will come up, which is good, because they need to know there's too much stuff being thrown out on the internet that's not true.
Exactly.
And people get excited about it, and I always say, come and ask one of us, because you may not like the answer, but it's the truth.
Well, and there's always, it seems to be 2 or 3 sides of the story, and so you need to get all the facts. Wow. And that's, as you were saying, people don't always have all the facts. So I'm open to listening, I'm open to finding out those facts, and then making decisions from there.
You'll do fine. Thanks. Now, I would ask you what your accomplishments would be for the first term, but I think you're going to be getting your feet wet. So, Is there anything that you want to try to do?
Well, the first of all, just so you know, I had an orientation with each of the departments so that I could learn better about, what they do. But I think, again, that's the operations side, which I'm not a part of. Right. I'm more on understanding the decisions for policy and vision. And I think listening and understanding what the discussions have been in the committee of the whole and at the board meetings will be really important. Again, getting facts and understanding will be number one. So
again, we have a great village manager. We have great department heads.
Oh yeah.
We have great employees, but to understand what they actually do, I mean, to me, it was boggled me a little bit that it made sense. Yeah. What they do. So it's a pretty well-oiled machine, but we have great employees that do it. So
you're right.
Yeah, they make us look good. Is there something different you might want to bring to the table
there's 2 things actually. One is a fresh set of eyes. I think it's always good. The board is a great board, but I think that there's sometimes that boards sometimes just keep doing and feeling the same as they have in the past. So a new, fresh set of eyes is always good. And the second thing is I hope that I can help plan for 10, 15 years down the road, not just for today. I'm kind of a planner for the future for 10, 20 years, so that's what I'm hoping to bring as well.
Well, and things change. I mean, we've gone through so many different things. I've been on the board 14 years and things have changed. We went through, the Great Recession, as the mayor would call it, and now we're just going crazy with all the data centers and everything else.
Technology park, the innovation, everything is great.
Right, we need to be ready for the next 30, 40 years.
We might be the Jetsons someday, you know?
Well, I'm sure the mayor will try to get a spade sport put in here or something if he can. So I guess, what made you come to Elk Grove?
Good question. So my husband's job it required us to relocate, and he became a manager in the Chicago office. So we knew we were going to come to Chicago, and I didn't know exactly where to live, or we didn't know where to live. So we actually interviewed different people in different neighborhoods. We came to Elk Grove and we interviewed administrators at the different local schools. We also looked at the Park District, and we looked at the low crime rate. We looked at the community feel. And then we went to other communities, and I won't mention where we looked, but Elk Grove stood out because of those qualities. And I think we wanted that community feel, and we wanted our kids to be safe. We wanted to raise our family. We have 3 children. At the time, they were in different levels of high school, junior high, and elementary. So that was really important to us. And then I happened to apply at the Park District. When we moved here, I happened to apply, and I was very fortunate to get hired. So the rest is history.
Yeah, well, you really did your due diligence and check on interviewing the schools and that.
Yeah, and we actually had heard that Elk Grove Village was a really great place to be. We wanted to be in the northwest suburbs, but we didn't want to be in the city, even though my husband worked downtown. So this was a great opportunity for us.
Well, it's a win for Elk Grove.
Thank you.
You know, I've dealt with you, but known you for 18 years and dealings with the Park District and all that, and I know you got what it takes to be able to do this job, and I assume hopefully better than.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
You know, that we need to keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
And fresh eyes on everything would really help. And
Yeah.
I think you'll do a great job.
The other thing that sold me was you. I met you in August of the time that we met, so you were the other reason we moved here.
Oh, yeah. All right.
No, I'm kidding.
I should have been the reason that you left, but you should have been smart on that. But well, thank you.
Very welcoming. Thank you.
Well, you know what? I think you'll do a phenomenal job. When I heard that the mayor had asked you to do it, I'm like, she would be the best person for the job, but I don't know if she'll do it. But I was so happy when I heard you did.
Thank you.
I know the residents will be happy too.
Thank you very much.
Well, I
do have big shoes to fill. I just want to say, you know, Nancy was a great person and is a great person, and her genuine personality is something that I think was great. So I want to continue to be genuine and to be that relationship building person. So
yes, I was talking to Nancy earlier in the show, and again, fill somebody's shoes. Nobody's going to replace anybody. All the people that we've had here have done a great job. They've all cared about the village.
Yes,
and that's what you need to do.
Thing.
It's nothing about yourself or that. You've got 33,000 people you have to make a decision for. And I can't even get my family to make a decision. So, you know, it's tough. It's a tough job. Sometimes people get mad at you, and there's nothing you can really do because one gets mad, one's happy.
You can't please everybody.
Yeah, you just do the best you can
You
and try to please 51%, which normally we do a little bit better.
I think you do. I think so. I think the board is a great board. I really do.
I look forward to working with you.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully when you're on different committees, I'm sure we'll interview you about that.
Yep.
So we'll pick some good ones for you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. We'll be right back. I'd like to thank my guests today, former trustee Nancy Czarnik and new trustee Tammy Miller. It was great to hear from Nancy about her tenure as a trustee and all the things that she's accomplished. And it was also nice to hear from Tammy Miller on her background and what she plans on doing as a new trustee. So thank you all for watching this episode. We look forward to seeing you. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you next year on In the Grove.